Hello, everybody. I do own the rights to the music. Let me put that in there right now. All right. Thank y'all for hanging out with me. Thank you for joining me here. I wanted to just pop on here and talk a little bit about intuition because I had a situation to happen that illustrates this thing so well. And my husband and I were talking, and he was like, "Baby, we really got to share this with the people." And so we actually go live on TikTok quite regularly. Matter of fact, I will be going live there tonight. But we usually do it on Sundays and then sometimes other days, but we actually didn't do it this Sunday because we were out of town and we just didn't feel like doing it. And one thing I want to say is, you have to look at the energy with which you do things. And so what I have decided is that if I don't want to do something, I'm not going to do it. And so I stopped doing things that I don't want to do. And it was a conscious decision. And it also was something that, it took me a minute to actually connect it. It took me some time to try to really hone in on the things that I desire, the things that I want, and all this stuff, and actually give myself permission to access those. Because I'm telling y'all, it's like, okay, I had to get some music, y'all. Find some jazz. So anyway, I wanted to really get to a place where, okay, that's relaxing royalty-free jazz, y'all. So now that I got that straight, I wanted to get to a place where I was free, because one of the things that I'm in devotion to, and this is something that I really hone in on and talk about with my clients, what is the thing that you're in devotion to? What do you love? What is the thing that you have to have in your life? And for me, the number one thing is freedom. And I actually started unpacking and diving down into myself and into my soul to see what that actually meant for me. Because so many times we don't even really know why we want something, or what's the background of us desiring this thing. And so I wanted to just really get on that and just talk about how that is just so huge for me. It's phenomenal. And so I'm going to get into the intuition bit. We actually went on a staycation, and for those of you that don't know what a staycation is, for us, a staycation is where we go someplace close, basically stay home. A lot of people, I used to use it like that, but now I use it like, we go places, and places we don't have to take a flight, just places we can just get in the car and drive, a couple of hours. And so we did that. We went down to Portland, where my kid and one of my kids and his partner live. And so we're down there, and it was such a beautiful time. We were able to meet her grandmother and her auntie who were there. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful spirits. I was a little nervous because it's always nervous meeting, the in-laws. But it was so much fun, and we enjoyed them. They enjoyed us. We just had a wonderful time. And we knew that it wouldn't be the last time. That's what we said, because we actually forgot to take a picture. We intended to, but we forgot to take the picture. So we thought about it later. We're like, that just means, and my son said, that just means it's not the last time that we're going to get together. So that being said, we're in a hotel. We decided to get a hotel because they have a cute little apartment, but it is a cute little apartment. And they have, our grand dogs. And so we are like, no, we're going to we did a cute little hotel room downtown. Actually, it wasn't very far from them, which was really good. And so we were having a blast, just relaxing. And we were blessed to be able to get a room with a jacuzzi. And so we got this jacuzzi tub room, and it was amazing. And we just had a blast, and so we're having a blast. We get there and we talk to the girl at the desk, and she's like, okay, well, my husband said, can we leave the car? And she said, yeah, we can leave the car. And thank you for joining. She said, we can leave the car. It would be okay to be there. And so my husband actually had already bought parking because we know how downtown parking is in most cities. And so we went, he had bought parking. And so he was going to take the car to go into the parking garage. And so we were like, okay, so we sat down, went in, went to the bar and, talked to the people that worked at the bar and had a drink and just had a good time. And then he said, well, I'll move it later. I said, okay. I said to him, I said, well, you know what? If your intuition is telling you, and we all know what intuition is that still small voice of God. I'm going to read a definition for it that I pulled up on the Google. It's the ability to understand something immediately without the need for conscious reasoning. A thing that one knows or considers likely from instinctive feeling rather than conscious reasoning. Your insights and intuitions as a native speaker are positively sought. That's an example, a sentence. So that's what intuition is. I call it the still small voice that is God, that speaks to you and gives you the information and everything that you need. He can get it from different spaces, but this particular time he had a gut feeling that he needed to go move the car. Of course, he ignored it. Didn't go move the car. And I said, you sure? Because here's the thing. I'm intuitive as well, but my husband is too. And so I think that because I asked the question, because of course the next day when we got down there to go and get in our car, it was gone and it had been towed. And so I was like, oh my God, we got, but let me tell you the other part of it. I started asking because I've been asking questions when things happen, what is this and what am I supposed to learn? What am I supposed to, what is it supposed to show me? And so that was the question that I asked. And so in the process, now I that kind of stuff unnerves me and I get really upset. However, I've been working on that as well because I don't really want anything or anybody to have any power over me. And that's what that does when you do that. And so I had already, set in my mind. So he's talking to the people at the desk, asking questions. And my mind told me to go outside and look at the street. So I went outside, found a sign, and saw a number and called. And I said, let's see. Because, of course, this is Sunday, y'all. This is Sunday. And so I called the number and somebody answered, and the girl was really nice. And I asked her about the situation. She said yes. And she told me, where it was. She gave me the number to the people, and actually told me around the time that it happened. And so I was like, okay. And I got all the information, got where to go, who to talk to, and all that stuff. And so I called them, did that while he's in there talking to the people at the hotel. And I knew that that was what I needed to do because the more I stood there and listened to him talking to the girl at the desk, who she was a sweet girl, but she wasn't very bright. And so as he talked to her, I was like, oh my God, I can't even deal with this because she was going into, whose fault it was and all this. And we're like, we ain't caring about that. We need to get our car. We give a fuck about whose fault it was. We'll deal with that later. Now we need to get our car. And so called there. And of course it was, way too much money for them to have had our car for 4 freaking hours. I was like, I hesitate to think if we had left it there more than that because it was ridiculous. And so, we get the car, of course, I text my son. I said, can you come? I knew he had worked and I felt bad asking him, but we were in his city and we're actually 2 minutes away. And so he said, yeah, he said, I can come. And because the place was about 10 minutes away. So he came and took us and we went to get the car. And so we go in and I showing, ID or whatever and showing we had a copy of the old registration. And so the woman starts looking at the registration. Is like, oh, well, that's old. I'm like, honey, we don't even live in this state. Our registration is always up to date. We don't have those type of issues. I was like, that's not something. My husband works for law enforcement. He don't play those type of games. And so I said, no, we have, it's current. I said, but the current one is in the car, which you have. And so, I'm kind of going like that. And I could feel myself because myself knows myself, but I can feel myself just, my energy rising. I could feel my anxiety about trying to go through the roof, all this stuff. But I was like, no. And I just started breathing. I would just walk away and I would just breathe, and center myself and get myself back to myself, because when I'm outside of myself, I don't really like myself. So I centered myself and got myself back into myself. And, you know, it was like, oh my God, it was just, it was the most amazing thing. Because we were able to get the car, got the car, went on back, went and met my kiddos and the grandmother and the auntie, met them all at the restaurant, which was amazing. We had such a good time. And yeah, it was amazing. It was just so nice. So, the moral of the story was that my husband realized that he should always trust his intuition. And let me tell y'all something. Intuition is going to be the first thing that comes to you. So after you kick that to the side and you start mulling things over and pulling up all kinds of other shit, that was the first thing. The first thought that you had was that voice of God telling you. So like when that voice came to him and told him, maybe we should move this car. That's what he should have done. He should have moved the car at that moment. And that is a part of trusting your intuition. And so we learned that valuable lesson. Now he did get the hotel to reimburse us, take that off the bill, which is what they did. They took that off the bill, however much the price of the tow and the ticket, because of course we had a ticket too. So the price of the tow and the ticket, they took it off the bill, which was amazing, and which we were so grateful for. But the other part of that too is because, I didn't act up, because I can act up, y'all. I can. I'm not gonna. I can. I try really hard not to, and that's a part of my journey, is not doing that and not, shutting shit down, because I will do that. And my husband knows this, so he's really, really cognizant and protective, and he's helpful in that way. And so, as I started, getting myself together and not getting ready to cuss these people out, because that was the step in the move that was going to happen. And then we had another instance inside of the place when we went to get the car, the tow place. This girl said something crazy. And usually I would say something crazy back, and not in a good way. But what I did was I flipped the script and I said something that made her think. Because I was like, what are you talking about? And she said something about, I said, well, the people said, we could leave the car. Well, if somebody told you to jump off a bridge, I'm like, well, whoa, what are you talking about? Where are you going with that? I said, we're from another city. You hope you can trust the hotel people where in the city where you are, since this is not your city and you don't know how they do things. I said, so you hope that when you ask people questions that they're truthful and that you can trust that. That's what I said to her, because typically, in the past, she would have gotten a whole mouthful of other things that weren't good and probably wouldn't have been well received, but I wouldn't have cared, because one thing about me is you're not going to talk to me any kind of way, number one. Number two, you're not going to treat me any kind of way, number two. Number three, I will shut that shit down in a number of ways, and I know how to do it. So this is a journey for me too. So it was like, trust your intuition all the way around. So in the situation, outside of the situation, around the situation, trust your intuition, because it's going to tell you, God speaks to us every single day. I cannot say that enough. I tell people that all the time. Yes, God does speak to you. You might not hear, you might not want to hear, it might go over your head, but we get talked to all day, every day. God speaks to us. So, I'm just grateful, and I'm thankful, because the whole situation was crazy, and then the other part of it too is we could have got like jaded, and because typically when shit like that happens, I'm like, you know what, I'm ready to go get out of this town. Apparently it's not for us. I'm getting out of here, and I didn't even do any of that. I didn't feel any of that, and that was the beautiful part. That was the growth part, and all I could think of was growth. Thank God for growth, because I had growth. Oh Lord, I got to plug in this computer. Has been unplugged for just a little while. All right, I had to go get the plug. So thank you for joining me. I'm gonna probably get off here because I gotta go plug this computer up before it dies. And I gotta go downstairs to get the plug because I'm upstairs. But anyhow, I just wanted to just come on here and share that because I know that if we're doing that and dealing with that, many of you are as well. But listen to your intuition, trust it. The first thing that comes to you, trust it. Don't, don't delay, don't dabble, trust it. I promise you, it never leads you wrong. It always leads you in the right place. So trust your intuition. Again, thank y'all for hanging out with me. I would love it if you would hit the subscribe button and hit the bell for notifications so that you'll be notified when I post new content or come on with new videos or new lives. I am in day, I think, 13 of 30 days of live. No, day 14 of 30 days of lives. So I will be back on again tomorrow for another live. I had to miss yesterday and Sunday because couldn't do all that. So I'll be back on again tomorrow for another live. And you can also follow me at Intuitive Tammy on TikTok. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I just grabbed this little hat because I was like, I just want to do something a little different. But thank you. But make sure that you're joining me to Intuitive Tammy on TikTok as well, because I also go live there. Matter of fact, I'm going live there tonight. Because these are the places that I want to build, and I'm trying to build community so that we can have a place to come to that is a safe space, and that if you want to share something, you can share it. That's what I want. And if you're interested in working with me, I always have openings. I have I'm doing sessions, healing sessions, and all kinds of things can happen in those sessions. You can get you're going to get messages from your spirit team. You could get a message from ones in transition. I mean, not transition, that have transitioned. um, you're going to get your own personal affirmations, all that. Those are things that I do in my sessions. If you're in Western Washington, I do them actually in person as well. Not often, but I do. Some people just like that in-person touch, and they like the energy, and I don't mind to do it. So again, thank you for joining. I also have Passing the Pearls, which is my book that I'm writing for the grandmothers. If you have a grandmother story and you want to share, you can come and you can message me or join me. Y'all can go into my about. There's all kind of ways to get in touch with me. Instagram, Facebook Messenger, TikTok Messenger. You can comment on this thing. I try really hard to go back and look at the comments. But tag me in the comments. So any kind of way you need to reach out to me, that is always the thing. So again, I hope that your day is good and magical, and that everything works out well for you in the way that you desired. And if not, make sure that you are doing your self-care, doing your affirmations, and doing all of the things that matter to you to make you the best person that you can be. That's someone that I knew here, great grandmother. That is awesome. Awesome. Thank you. Appreciate your sharing. And that's another thing. Make sure y'all share this out to your friends and people that need to hear this information. So I thank you so much for joining, and namaste. Awesome. Way to go.